As your adversary comes to you, ward him off with a stiff arm to head and throw one arm under his shoulder. Place other arm across side of face and lock his hand on the inside of your opposite elbow. Pressure upward will break the neck. A knee lift to the solar plexus can be used with a throw to the deck for further counterattack. Now again in slow motion review. Quick stiff arm. Apply chancery. Knee lift to solar plexus. Throw opponent. Arm drag. As your opponent rushes you, reach straight over and grasp your opponent's wrist, and at the same time secure the upper arm on the underside with your other hand. Simultaneously throw foot across opponent's instep or shin. Now fall back, pulling him over your leg to trip. Carry out further attack from rear. Now in slow motion. Secure arm, throw leg across, fall back, trip, conclude attack. The leg pickup. As your opponent rushes you, knock his arms out to side, step in with one knee to deck, grasp him firmly just above the knees. With your shoulder in his stomach, raise him off the deck, place one hand in back, keeping the other hand around his legs, and drop him to the deck on his head or neck. Conclude with knee drop, kick in ribs, or any other attack. In slow motion, knock hands to side, secure legs, raise off deck, switch hand to back, drop to deck on head or neck, knee drop to ribs, conclude attack. The hip lock. Draw the arms of your opponent under your own. Lock his right arm with a grapevine, which places your hand between his chest and yours. Grasp his left elbow with your right hand. Cross your left leg in front of him. Bend, and using the hip as a fulcrum, heave him over. Let's see it again in slow motion. Draw opponent to you, lock the arms, step through, pull over. The reverse hip lock. In this maneuver, the right arm slips under the left shoulder, and the left arm secures the elbow of your opponent. You step across him with the right foot. Use the right hip as the fulcrum and throw him over it. Again in slow motion. Secure the arms. Step behind. Here again, foot action is important. Throw over hip. The offensive wrist lock. The wrist lock is a highly versatile offensive tactic. Here it develops from an attempted one-hand strangle. The hold is broken by turning the assailant's hand and forcing forward. Then the wrist lock is applied. Fingers over wrist and thumbs forcing hand back. The assailant must follow the lead of the hand or suffer a broken wrist. So, with this lead, he is easily thrown and subject to various forms of counterattack. Breaking the wrist or elbow, a kick to the ribs, the solar plexus or the groin, and is held in a helpless position without use of the hands. Now, again in slow motion review. Peel off grasping hand, apply wrist lock, pull opponent to deck, break elbow or wrist. Continue with foot attack to other vulnerable points. The reverse wrist lock. When an assailant seizes your clothing or pushes, he is completely vulnerable to counterattack. Reach over and grip the little finger of your opponent's hand. Place other hand on his elbow for added leverage and roll the arm. As his head is forced down, clamp your elbow over his shoulder. Any resistance on his part can result only in broken bones or forced joints. You can use your foot or knee in his face if necessary. Now again in slow motion. Reach over, grasp little finger edge of opponent's hand, step in and apply pressure outward and down. Double wrist lock. Here a leg tackle is applied. Seize his wrist, straight over with your hand, slide your other hand over his arm above the elbow, and clasp your own wrist, thereby completing a double wrist lock. From this position, a natural development is a twisting hammer lock up the back with a throw backward. Now again in slow motion. Apply double wrist lock. Up back in twisting hammer lock. Throw over with a kick. Standing defense against kicks from front with leg lift and trip. In defending against kicks from the front, hold your position until the assailant starts delivery. Then quickly turn and clamp the leg. One hand over the calf, the other hand under the heel. In this position, assailant is completely off balance and helpless. Follow through by kicking assailant's standing leg from under him, at the same time hoisting his kicking leg. The resultant fall will stop the ordinary opponent. But in any case, you are in position to conclude your counterattack with the hands or knees. Quick turn, clamp leg and grasp under heel, kick standing leg and hoist kicking leg. Continue attack with hands and knees. Kneeling defense against kicks from side. From prone position, time the approach of your assailant so that when he starts to deliver the kick, raise to your hands and knees and fall sharply in on his upright leg and clamp it with your arm. The momentum of his approach thus helps to throw him off balance. Pulling his leg under you throws him to the deck. By use of a toe hold, turn him over, slip one leg behind his knee, and clamp it with a bar toe hold. In this position, little pressure is necessary to break the leg or ankle or dislocate the knee. And you can use either one or both hands to conclude the attack, as your body pressure against the foot is sufficient to hold opponent down. Now, in slow motion review, raise to hands and knees, fall sharply against the knee, pull leg up and under, twisting toe hold, bar toe hold to break the leg or ankle. Prone defense against kicks, the knee lock. As assailant advances, determine which leg will deliver the kick and start to apply knee lock to stationary leg. Hook one foot behind his heel. Strike sharply with other foot at his knee. Usually the power of his momentum will force the knee joint. Otherwise, throw him by carrying through. When advancing to conclude the attack, use the knees to prevent him from rolling over and grabbing you. Hook one foot behind heel. Strike sharply at knee with other foot. Prone defense against kicks. Leg scissors from side. As assailant advances, keep the upper leg cocked for action. And as he starts to deliver the kick, swing the leg around behind his knees, thereby locking his stance. Strike downward with the top leg and upward with the underleg in a scissors motion, so that his own momentum will throw him. From this position, roll up on the assailant, holding his leg locked in your own. Application of pressure will break the leg or dislocate the knee. In any case, the assailant is completely at your disposal. Now, in slow motion review, throw upper leg into position. Carry through maneuver to bar toe hold. Apply pressure. Defense against club. In defense against the club, cross the arms and step in to meet the blow. This cross defense affords the greatest certainty of meeting and arresting assailant's arm. Now watch the foot action. Turn body, grasping his arm at the forearm and shoulder, and follow through with a flying mare. On the deck, go into an elbow lock, breaking the arm at the elbow, or lead into various methods of concluding the counterattack with the knees, feet, or hands. In slow motion review, cross arms, step into blow, flying mare, conclude attack. Defense against knife, downward thrust. The first objective is to block the knife's blow by seizing the assailant's wrist with the outstretched hand, thumb downward. Then cross the other hand under and around his arm in a reverse double wrist lock. Using your shoulder as a fulcrum, apply leverage until he drops the knife or his arm is broken. Force him to the deck and conclude the counterattack. Now in review, block arm, apply double reverse wrist lock, throw to deck, continue counterattack. Upward thrust with knife. In countering the upward thrust, both hands form a V and are used to seize the wrist and arrest the blow. While forcing the wrist back, throw the assailant off balance by a sharp knee lift to the groin. Swing under his arm and apply a hammer lock. To force release of the knife, apply pressure downward against the wrist, then maintain the hold for control in leading or break wrist. Now again slow motion. Block thrust with V, knee lift to groin, turn out and apply twisting hammerlock, wrist down. Side thrust with knife. To block this maneuver, both hands are used in a V to seize the assailant's wrist. Then the right hand is slipped around the assailant's arm to gain a double wrist lock. Stepping back, this hold develops into a twisting hammerlock, exerting leverage which will tear the opponent's shoulder if he resists. When the knife grip is broken, the hammerlock can be retained with one hand while using the other to recover the knife and finish the counterattack. Now, in slow motion review, block maneuver, apply double wrist lock, throw using proper leg action, and liquidate. Club defense against knife. If armed with a stout stick, wait for the thrust to expose assailant's arm, then strike at forearm. One blow should paralyze or break the arm. If not, jab sharply to the solar plexus and continue the counterattack with both stick and knife.